Welcome. Today I have a kindred spirit, Celeste Moore, who I got to meet a while ago and was so impressed with who she is, what she does, and how she brings what she does to helping people into alignment and what that even means. And it's not just dressing well, it's what does that mean when you show up and what kind of an appearance do you make first impressions? Celeste, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Terry. It's so good to see you.
Same here, very much so. Okay. So talk to us a little bit about your challenges, your struggles, and how you got to who you are today.
Ooh, that's a lot to unpack. So let me keep it tight for
Sure.
today. Kind of where I guess the precipice started for me was when I was 22. I was in college. I started at 21, so not typical of, young people. And I actually was in the middle and of a divorce. I was married very young at 21, and all of a sudden I needed to come up with $2,000 in 48 hours. And I, mind you, was working as a waitress part time at Outback Steakhouse while I was full time in school. And for some reason, I knew that my education was so important to me, and I did not want to give that up. And so I kind of found myself in the fork of a road, if you will. Like, here's one option, here's another. The one option is like maybe you can't go to school full time, you have to work a full time job, or you can try to find a job that you make enough money and keep in school. And so it was the latter for me. I was living in Las Vegas at the time, and I actually met a young woman at a club one night. And being in Las Vegas, very common is becoming a dancer in an adult club. And I kind of was instantly put in survival mode. And decision that I made was that I became a dancer and said, I'm going to do this so that I can finish and graduate college. And that's what I did. But when I graduated college, it didn't really stop yet for me because I was like, the trajectory for me was to go to law school. And I realized that law school wasn't really what I wanted to do. It's what my mom wanted me to do, it's what my boyfriend wanted me to do at the time. And so I had to stop for the first time and say, what do I want to do? What brings me joy and love and passion? And what brings me and feels like is my purpose? So I started looking into all the passionate things in my life. And, my mom had said, why don't you become an image consultant? You like to dress people, you like to make them look good and feel good. And I was like, what, there's a job like that where people get paid for that? And so I looked up what image consulting was, and I realized that it was singing to my heart. And so I flew to New York, I got trained for 2 weeks, then went through a global certification process. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is it. Let's go." But then as soon as I, got certified, I realized I didn't have a coach or a mentor. I didn't even know how to run a business. So this was a very another whole different situation for me. And I found out 1 week after getting certified that I was pregnant with my daughter. So there is a lot here going on. And I realized at that moment that I would be doing it alone. I'd be a sole parent to my daughter. And I wanted to build this business, and I wanted to quit dancing, and all of these things at once. I guess they come in threes. Well, for me, I realized that it would be very short lived for me to continue to dance. And I put all of my energy and all of my money and all my resources into trying to build this business. And I still didn't quite understand what that looked like. And so I worked with some coaches and lawyers and doctors and anybody that I could come in contact with. I started going to BNI groups and
Oh.
networking groups and all the things, but it still really didn't get off. I had these very ups and downs and valleys throughout my career. But that's kind of where it all started. So I'm not sure if you want me to continue, but,
Wait, uh,
you know,
It's so inspiring, really, because so many people start, like you said, with a rocky road. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. And what I have found is so many give up and they take the path of least resistance. Oh, I'll stay being a waitress or I'll stay being a dancer. That's what I know. Instead of forging ahead and stepping into uncharted territory, which is exactly what you did. And I so identify. Not the same path, similarities about struggling and not knowing and stepping into coaching. No idea. Found my way. Well, tell us about how you got started as an image consultant.
Yeah.
Where did you take it from? Gee, I want to do this. I'm willing to go through whatever I need to. This is my calling.
Well, as I said that when I knew I was going to have a daughter, I just knew that my life needed to change. I needed to be able to show her a life of, anything's possible. You can do the things that you love and you can still have a family. You can do all these things, but I think there's a lot of people when they come into a situation like that and like you said, "Oh, well, I'm not going to try as hard. I'm not going to do the things." That wasn't even an option for me.
Hmm.
I knew that I wanted to be there in my daughter's life and give her everything I could possibly do. And so where I'm at today was a lot of ups and downs. I could not wrap my head around when I first got certified that, no offense to anybody, but a bunch of old women came up with the ethics and values and morals and how you should conduct business as an image consultant. I think it was in the 80s that Color Me Beautiful became a thing. And it was like, okay, you can make X amount of dollars and it's per hour. And I was like, I'm never going to make a living making this much money. I'm never going to be able to sustain my life. And so I struggled with many years of if I really truly wanted to do this because I didn't see another way how to do business. So I incorporated like, let's see, I did Arbonne on the side. I did Rodan and Fields on the side. I did all different mismatches of jobs because as an image consultant, we are holistic. It's not just about colors and wardrobe and it's skincare. It's how do you take care of your body, health and wellness and mindset as well. So I tried to do all the things and I sustained for a while, but I would go back and forth like, do I really want to do this? Maybe I want to be a go back to school. Like, do I want to get my MBA? I just didn't know. And I was really in limbo for so many years. And then back, I can't remember the year. Maybe it was actually during COVID. And I had so many people say, why don't you focus in the dating area? Become a niche market for people that want to get back into the dating world, address them and help them with coaching and mannerisms. And so then I got my coaching degree in date coaching and I started a podcast, did that for 121 episodes and thought that I was on the right path. And I would always incorporate the image side. But what happened is the dating portion overshadowed the image consulting. So no one knew what I really did. So if you look back on my old social media, you'll see too that I was like not truly comfortable in my skin and it shows. And then I had to come to Jesus, if you will. I had to say, you know what? We've got to make a change. I had to pivot again. And the pivot was I needed to very drastically kill the date coach. It wasn't like I'm just going to start incorporating just the full blown image consulting. That wasn't the case. So I quit the podcast. I started a new one a little bit later. And I really started focusing on the people in my community that I saw that needed the most help. And that was the areas that I was in speakers, people that are podcasting, authors, people that have started to really see success, but their image was not congruent with their message. So it was more of this identity, right?
Mm,
It's taken from what no longer serves you to what serves you and really embodying that version of you now. And so I found that I was doing really great things with getting people ready for TEDx and brand shoots and having much success, but there was still a missing element where they were ready for stage, but they weren't ready for 5 other things that were happening. And so I realized that I needed to extend this program, and now to what something is so beautiful and amazing, and they're actually able to truly transform. I'm fulfilled, they're fulfilled, and we have success on both sides. So that's where I'm at now.
What a trajectory. What a
Yes.
trajectory. And I think I, for one, can so identify different areas, obviously, but honing in your gut and knowing, okay, the dating was okay, but not for me. And being willing to shift gears and to go all in with the image consulting and kind of opening up your lens a little bit and seeing where can I have the biggest effect with people and how they look when they get up on a stage. And so many people, I think, get up on a stage and you go, they have this brilliance coming out of their mouths, but then it's, huh? They don't quite look that part.
Yeah.
And when you can bring all that together is amazing. And, extraordinary work, conversations about creating change. And you are doing extraordinary work and creating change in the lives of those people that really want to make a huge impact. And yet it's not happening for them.
Mhm. Yeah. Let me give you a statistic here.
Sure.
This is very common, but then there are a lot of people that when they hear it, it's so impactful. So, in our perception of viewing others, 55% is the way that we look, 38% is body language and our tone, and it's only 7% are the actual words. So, if you can master that 7% with your words and let me handle the rest for you, right? If you can just think about how impactful most of the way that we communicate is nonverbally. And so when you can really dial in your message through colors, through fit, through fabrics, through body language, eye contact, the way that your shoulders are back, whether or not your hands are in your pocket or not. I mean, there's so many elements, but when you can understand how visually important we are to others, you'll probably take it a little bit more seriously.
Yes, 100%. And coming out of the fashion industry, I always had a knack for dressing well. It was just intuitive, I guess. And I remember being up on stage giving fashion presentations, and I always, whether it was intuitive, looked really good. And I'd always get compliments. And people would say to me, "Oh, Terry, she could wear a brown paper bag and still look good." So I do a presentation called The Art of Communication. And it's not just the words, it's how you show up, body language, big important part. But I love this statistic 7% of what comes out of your mouth, which is like such an insignificant percentage compared to the rest. So it sounds like if somebody has this brilliance to say, but doesn't look good in body language, hands in their pocket, or not presenting themselves well, it sounds like the audience is going to get turned off.
They can, or they can just be confused because what they're saying doesn't correlate, doesn't match. It's the congruency is not there. And so our brains are like, what is really happening? Is it what the person's saying, or is it the what visually, right? The visually is so much more of a percentage at this point. So yeah, it can truly, truly, we're building trust, and and trustworthiness and professionalism and all these things that we want our audience to know about us. So we're either keeping those doors shut or we're allowing them to open those opportunities. So, yeah.
Talk about the everyday person, because not everybody listening is a speaker, is getting up on a stage, but how you present yourself in everyday life. It was the quintessential networker for many, many years because I was in the corporate world and I was a very visible person. And you'd go to these events, this is years ago, and you'd wonder, people show up, they're slumped over, they don't quite look like they're there for connections, that they just kind of, jumped out of bed, so to speak, to be there. After work, they didn't care and then wondered, gee, I didn't meet the people I wanted to. So, what about kind of everyday people? People that, if you can answer it, that go to a party, a mid level person that's invited to a meeting, maybe even a seat at the table just to have a conversation.
Well, what I want to say on that is what's really, really, really important to feel authentically yourself is to understand that you as an individual have a personality. You could be extroverted, you could be introvert, you could be a hybrid. You could love to read or walk, or maybe you're a team sport person. Maybe you enjoy being around people. Understanding how you give and receive energy, the voice that you have, your inflection, like this is something I just help you discover. And why that's so important is just let's take color in, for example. If you're going to network, for example, you're not a speaker, that's okay, but you're going to go to a meeting, a networking event. I always suggest wearing colors or wearing an item that stands out just a little bit. I still want it to be authentically you. It doesn't mean you have to wear bright green or anything like that. It could be a statement piece of jewelry. It could be just a statement, a blazer. It could really be something that's truly you, but where people will remember you because so many people don't remember names, but they might remember you if you're wearing, I'm just going to use a red jacket, for example. That might not be everybody. But what I'm saying is if you are more introverted, wear softer colors. If you have a more vibrant personality, then a vibrant color will ring true to who you are. And so that's just like one very, very small tip that you can take in a situation like that. If you're going to a house party, just make sure to make eye contact. Get into a conversation that feels right for you. But the more you show up authentic and be comfortable with who you are, the more you're going to resonate with your right audience, right? Everybody has a message. Just kind of understand what that is for you. So there's a strategy behind that, right? So it's like, if we stop for a second, what feels comfortable for me? What feels real to me? And what is my ultimate message? When you can answer those questions and wear items that resonate with you in that way, then you're really going to be set yourself up for success. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a stage presence, but I think it's really important that you stay true to who you are and they can visibly feel that because you're going to be more confident in your clothes. You're going to walk with your head a little bit higher. You'll be able to have conversations that feel real and authentic to you.
So true. Here's a question. How many people do you think truly understand what authenticity means and who they are?
I think we go through so many different seasons in our life and we change, we evolve. Hopefully, we're evolving and growing, whether that's in careers, in family life, in relationships. It's probably multidimensional. But I think there's a lot of people that get stuck living in an old version of yourself because it's very easy to do. It's very like comforting. Change is a little bit scary. To keep growing is a little bit scary to stretch yourself. But when you can continue to understand more and more, dive into what that means for you, like understand who you are. And there's all different ways to do that mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, relationship wise. And and then be able to show up in a way that represents that and through your clothing or your the way that you speak about yourself, the way that you show up physically, right? I think there's a lot of people that don't know because we get very comfortable staying in an old version of ourselves.
Absolutely. And as a coach, one of my responsibilities is to help people get out of their comfort zones, number one. But number two, to think about who they are today and are they still living in that comfortable old version of themselves and step into who they have evolved into through maybe trauma, through life's changes, because we all grow. However, a lot of people, from my perspective, don't look at that. They still connect with being comfortable. And that's something that a lot of people don't want to get out of their comfort zones. And then they wonder, oh, why haven't I changed? Why haven't I gotten the success I've wanted? And it's because they haven't stepped out. And if they have, they're still dressing and acting and being the way they used to be. I know these are questions
Yeah.
that, we go hand in hand almost in being authentic. How do you show up in a way that people look at you and say, wow, I'm so prone because I've changed to showing up the way I want. I stand out. I wear clothes that most people don't wear. And I'm okay with that because it's intentional for me. So talk a little bit, if you can,
Oh,
to how can somebody start to look at themselves and say, gee, I need a new look. I need some new clothes.
I think it's great to take inventory of where you're at in your life and understand that, comfort is truly the killer of momentum to
Mm,
any change, even if it's small steps. I would say the first thing is go in your wardrobe. Just take stock, look in your wardrobe and ask yourself, do these items in my closet represent the version of me now or the version of me that where I want to go? Because everybody has a story of where they want to go, what success looks like for them. And we all define it in different ways. And do those items, number one, have I worn them in the last 2 years? If not, get them out of your closet. Because what's happening is you're holding space for things that don't fit the new you. So get them out. There's a reason why you haven't worn them. Maybe they're old and tattered. Maybe they're skinny jeans that you're never going to get in again, and you think it's kind of a drive for you to lose weight, and actually it's the opposite. It's telling yourself every day you look at that you're not enough, that you don't love
mm,
the person that you are now.
mm,
And I would also look in there on what feels good to you, what makes you, like, if you put that hot pink jacket on every time that you wear it and you get compliments and you feel like the best version of yourself and you're powerful and anything that you can do that you're going to accomplish in life, take notice of that. I would say even journal a little bit and ask yourself, where are you at? Why you're still in this version of you that's not serving you. Then after you do that, then you can actually start to go in, write down your goals. And what does that role look like? What do you envision yourself wearing in that new role? And then you can start to go buy a piece here and there. Go, if you can, like, get multiple pieces and start to build a capsule wardrobe. Capsule wardrobes are things that, let's say you have two jackets 3 pants, 2 skirts, 2 shirts, right? You can use and make like 50 outfits with those 10 pieces, for example. You add different accessories, different hairstyles, different shoes, and you can mix and match these pieces. And then you have this a beautiful synergy when you go in your closet because you can just pick these pieces and you'll wear them depending on whether it's a speaking engagement, a networking engagement, you're going to your friends for a dinner party. You have these pieces and they feel like you. And when you wear them, you feel comfortable, you are confident, and you just shine. So there's this, there's a deeper feeling, there's a deeper mindset with when you truly dress with intentionality.
I love that. I just love it because so many people and have clothes that don't fit them anymore. And they look at it and they say, I'm going to get down to that size. But they never do. And you're right. It reminds them of this is who I used to be. I'll never be that way again. Therefore, dot, 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 dot. And get rid of them. Maybe you were a size 6 when you were 20, and now you're 50, and you're a size 8 or 10. So what? I think that's what you're saying. Show up with who you are today. Don't think of the young kid that's, you've left that behind. You've also grown. So buy clothes, like you said, that fit who you are today and be proud of who you are today. Even if you're older, and I am older, much older today than I was when I started coaching 22 years ago. Now I work with people to embrace ageism. And I find that when people get older, they say, what the heck, who cares? And that's just not true. So maybe you can say a few words to the older group of people.
Yes, you know what? Our life hopefully is longer than yours, Terry, right? We hope to live this beautiful, amazing life and we do grow and evolve. And never stop loving yourself. And part of
Mm.
the way that we love ourselves are feeling good, looking good, smelling good, taking care of ourselves in a way that shows not only that we love ourselves, but that shares to everybody else, to the world, that we're capable, that we're trustworthy, that we're professional. And so if it's no longer suits for you and it's more of this smart, casual, very relaxed, but still give yourself the time and the space and the energy to understand where that is for you now. Get those pieces that maybe you're into the fabric of it being very soft and comforting and warm, or maybe you're a hot person and you need some cool clothes. Like, just understand when you can take note of who you are and be okay with that, love your body, the shapes, the sizes that we all evolve in, especially as women. We've gone through so many cycles of, some of us have had children and menopause and, all the things. And just love and own who you are today. Dress for who you are today. It doesn't matter your age. It truly doesn't. It just matters what stage, where are you at right now? If you're at home more, if you travel more. So it's just taking stock of like what your lifestyle looks like, what climate you live in, and what are your goals professionally and personally, and just live through that.
Words to live by, for sure. Celeste, I could spend the next hour talking because, there's such a synergy here. You've given so much, but I'd like you to maybe take out one or two tidbits that you talked about. So it's extrapolated from the conversation and just reiterate two things, no matter what age you are, you can start to do now.
No matter what age you are, you can truly start to understand. Let's just say you're extrovert or introvert. I'm going to give you that right to start. And we're going to talk about color. Color is the first thing we see in less than 3 seconds. Every color has an energy and a message. Understand if you're extrovert, let's wear some bright colors because that resembles your personality. If you're introverted, wear softer or more muted colors like olive or baby blue or baby pink or just this beautiful rose brown that it's authentic to you. And someone knows by just looking at you, that's more of who you are as an individual. So I was just going to leave that with you today. The last thing I would do is take stock of your wardrobe. Is that the version of you that you want to show to the world? And is that the version of you who you are right now?
Beautifully said. Extraordinary work. Look at what she's doing. She's helping people love themselves more, be aligned with who they are. What could be a greater gift to yourself than truly loving yourself and showing it, not only internally, but externally, and how you show up? Creating change. She's doing that with so many people. I offer my audience start creating your own changes by having Celeste words in your ear when you go to your closet. Celeste, this has been so inspiring, so informative, as I knew it would be. Take care. Thank you. I can't tell you how honored I am to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you so much.